Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Ankerstar Wealth Market Update. I'm your host, Allison Ankerstar, and today we'll be asking Steve about Facebook, Amazon, and Snapchat. But before we begin, as a reminder, this is a financial education presentation and should not be construed as personal financial advice. Full disclaimer information is available at ankerstarwealth.com. Good morning, Steve. Facebook has done basically a face plant after earnings. What is the future of Facebook after losing more market cap in one day than any other company in history?
Yeah, any other company in history. Isn't that crazy? And good morning, Allie. Welcome back. So Facebook here, when you look at the chart, again, this is TD Ameritrade Think Pipes. You can see it's kind of traipsing along. The dark blue are the open market days. This is kind of a 2-week chart. And then you can see here, right after that earnings release on that would have been Wednesday after the bell. I mean, look at this big sell-off. It kind of, people, you talk about buying the dip and do you buy the dip in Facebook? Well, look at this. People bought the dip, going in right here and then watched it just sell off all the way to the open yesterday. They bought the dip again and then watched it sell off. And then today it's selling off too. So, really, I think what did we learn from the earnings report? We learned that Facebook, all their revenue comes through their advertising. Unlike some of the other big firms out there, they don't really have that multiple ways to win or multiple ways to earn money like when you talk about Amazon, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But you have, one trick pony, if you will, as far as advertising. And they're trying to, pivot to the metaverse, which is a great idea. I love it. But the issue with pivoting to the metaverse is it's just way too far off, right? It's too conceptual. Not everybody's into the augmented reality, virtual reality scene. People don't really understand where things are going. The company has done a pretty good job of pivoting themselves, renaming to Meta, but they just really, it's too conceptual. And I will say in the past, being a long-term Facebook investor, that when they do miss earnings, they tend to miss them pretty hard. And that's what they did. But, so the metaverse thing, I think, is too conceptual. I think it's going to be a great long-term investment. I'm not looking to buy in here at these levels, though. But the third problem that they have out there is it doesn't particularly, at least in my opinion, appeal to the younger generation. So I guess, Allison, back over to you for your thoughts on this. What do you think about, do you use Facebook and do you plan on using Facebook, that sort of thing?
Well, no offense, but I don't plan on using Facebook anytime soon, honestly. Um, I would say that I grew up with Instagram and find Facebook like slightly confusing. And for like my generation, I guess we don't really see anything on Facebook that flutters us more than Instagram. In our eyes, I guess Facebook is the social media for like older people and not for us. Um, so in my opinion, I think that Facebook is going to continue downward as other social media platforms rise. Um, but Facebook overall is just like not for me, I guess, because I just wouldn't use it if I'm being honest.
Yeah, so thank you for your insight there. And because as an investor and for the investors listening, so if you have Allison that really has no intention of using it or knows what she would really use it for, then there's some stickiness there, right? Do you want to continue to invest your money into a social media platform that is literally dying, as all of us age every day and the new generation takes over? And we'll talk more about social media apps here in a little bit. But as far as long-term investors, I think, lay off of Facebook for now. I think it'll reinvent itself to Meta, but when the metaverse kind of really takes off, that's when you consider getting back into Facebook.
In contrast to Facebook, Amazon, which I do use almost every day, crushed earnings and raised its Amazon Prime rate by $20. What's next for Amazon?
Well, I think it's a brilliant move on Amazon and, Jeffrey Bezos, if you've heard the song, Amazon Prime. No, I don't want to be, I'm not saying everybody can afford to pay the Amazon Prime fee, but a lot of people can and a lot of people do, right? And I think raising it $20 is kind of genius from an investing standpoint, right? They could probably double it. And if you track the numbers out, they probably wouldn't lose that many subscribers. But here you have a company, and I've got the chart up to where, it's kind of bebopping along, got up to 3,000. you really had a buying opportunity here, because this sell off right here, this is what I call contagion with index funds, which is why I like individual stocks. Is why did Amazon sell off here? Because Facebook did. The whole FANG group went down. They're all in the same index funds. The index funds sold off because Facebook dropped 25%. So, did Amazon get unfairly punished? Yep. What is this? This is just the Facebook sell off. It is. It's contagion with the other funds. So, Amazon completely sold off. So, there's a buying point. I bought a bunch yesterday for folks, to load up on it in the hopes that it would crush earnings, and it in fact did. You never know for sure. But I took the risk and, of course, got rewarded. It is of note, though, that it's been kind of selling back off. So it'll be interesting. I think once the market opens today, Amazon will go back higher. But when you talk about how Facebook only has kind of that one way to win, Amazon has multiple ways to win, right? You have Amazon Web Services, which is the big one in my mind. There's a subscription base through Amazon Prime. You have recurring revenue that you can count on, set up for automatic automatic stuff or automatic collection. And when you look at Amazon Prime, I would say that it's my opinion that their content has been a little weak or lame, compared to the Netflix, of course, compared to Apple TV, who's got premium content, and Disney Plus when it came out, HBO, Showtime. Amazon Prime is what I would kind of a catch-all behind that. But you know what? People like watching older shows. My wife and I discovered White Collar. It's a show from 10 years ago. It's great and it's fun. And it's on Amazon Prime because it's not cutting edge, that sort of thing. So love Amazon. I think one thing, when people look at the stock price and you say 3,000, well, do they do a split like Google did? Maybe in the future. Can Amazon continue to grow as is? No, it can't. It's going to continually be in front of Congress, and eventually it's going to either break itself up or get broken up. Right. And that's the real value, is the breakup value of the company. So lots of ways to win. Love Amazon, even at this price.
Last question. Snapchat is now profitable and was up around 60% last night after the announcement. Is Snap now a legit company to invest in?
Well, I have not liked Snap from day one as far as an investment standpoint. I'm going to pull the chart here, but let's turn it over to you, I guess, again. What would you consider the hierarchy or the ranking of, from top to bottom, or just think out loud about the social apps that are out there? What do you use the most and the least?
Well, first, I use TikTok because it's my main source of entertainment, and I literally spend every day and literally every second on TikTok. If I'm bored, I go straight to TikTok, no question. And then for second, I guess I would put Snapchat is another social media that I use every day. It's like I do use text the most, but for my second main communication, it would definitely be Snapchat. And I have all my group chats on there and everything. So that one's my big communicator, I guess. And then 3 would be Insta because we use that instead of Facebook. And then we have at the bottom Twitter and then Facebook.
Yeah, Twitter, and you mentioned TikTok and the entertainment value. It is unbelievably how entertaining TikTok is. And if you've been following the story, this was the old Musical.ly from back in the day. And, I think, businesses are going on to TikTok now, and the advertising dollars of TikTok, I think is pretty amazing. But, when you think of Snapchat, Allison, do you remember, I don't use it that much, so I don't really see any advertising. Do you see ads on Snapchat when you're on Snapchat?
Yes. So you can when you're looking through stories, there will be an ad pop up every once in a while. And there's also ads towards the bottom all the time.
Oh, well, there you go. I don't even see them. But that's good insight that, they are making money now. They're now profitable. But yeah, I would say overall, I pulled a chart. There's, I hear I agree 100% with what Allison's saying as far as the way she has them ranked. And I went to a worldwide kind of thing because, we tend to think US based only. But I looked, here worldwide, Facebook was first, then YouTube, which is owned by Google. I didn't even kind of think of that when we were talking earlier about that. And then WhatsApp, I completely forgot about that. I do use that with a couple of friends of mine that insist on it. And then Instagram, Facebook Messenger. What I thought was interesting about this chart is all the way down here. It's even in the grayed out area is Snapchat. So yeah, I don't know. When you think about investing in Snapchat, it's certainly not my thing. Again, you know, Allison has noticed the ads. I have not. I'm not on there much, but but I do think they offer stuff for free. Like as a Life 360 person or a Find My iPhone, where you're trying to figure out where your family is, this whole Snapchat Maps thing is pretty cool. So there's some things that appeal to it, of course. But overall, I would say that it's not my thing, and it's not going to get any of my dollars.
Well, that's it for today. And thank you, Steve, for your commentary and analysis. That's all we have for today's show. I'm Allison Ankerstar, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
All right. Thanks, everyone.